just a good win by our guys. Um, they did a fantastic. We've been talking about playing um, with pace, not just in the full court, but in the half court as well. We've been talking about being physical, um, as best we can without fouling, and on both sides. Not just defensively, but even offensively, setting screens to get your teammates open, trying to play through contact because they're not going to call a lot of fouls, and stuff like that. And so I applaud our guys for continuing to try to play with pace and physicality. Um, the big thing that's hurt us in the past is the second chance points, and our guys did a great job of trying to put bodies on bodies. They had 8 second chance points to our 18. Our pace, we got to keep running. And tonight, I thought we got out in transition and we got to our spots and we sprayed the ball. It's no secret what we're trying to do. We're trying to touch the paint and spray the ball, and we want them to continue to do what good teams do. If somebody's about to get beat, you got to come help. And so we got to have the discipline to try to make sure that we stay spaced and we find an open guy, because they're really good at going vertical at the rim, and especially bringing another guy over. So if we can get up 53s, great. That's what we're trying to do. But we want the spray threes. A lot of guys stepped up for us. Foxy's Foxy. The 28 or 26 and 11. Big night from him. Keegan with the 12 rebounds. We needed every single one of his rebounds, and then Domas with 9 offensive rebounds. That was huge. But our bench was really big. You talk about the performance that Malik had. He's been aggressive the whole playoffs, and we thought he did a great job of touching the paint and spraying it. But just as importantly, his 6 rebounds were huge, and his ability to get to the free throw line were huge. And then obviously Trey. Trey was fantastic. He had 10 rebounds himself, and we told him, hey, if you're open, just let that thing go. And then TD. TD was great. He hadn't played much this series. Thought he came in and he did a heck of a job trying to make whoever he had to guard work. So big win by our group today or tonight.
What told you to go small and spread it out, and how did you just see it impact the game?
I got two guys on my staff. They drove me freaking crazy in our last meeting. Robbie Lemons is our analytics coach. He was the one that kept beating my freaking head in to do this. And Luke Laux, and we were all on board with it, but those 2 guys were probably the most adamant, and not necessarily with Trey. We all felt we wanted to go to Trey, but just mainly hey, let's just keep shooters on the floor, touch the paint and spray it. And we felt that Looney's been kicking our behind, so it's not like going to Trey or going to somebody else from time to time would hurt us on the glass, because he's been already doing work. But I give my entire coaching staff a lot of credit, but Robbie Lemons, our analytics coach, and Luke Laux, who's our 4th assistant, they're the 2 that really got on my nerves about it.
Mike, James Hammett, ESPN 1320. With Keegan, did you come into the game thinking that you might play him somewhere around 45 minutes? And just how impressed are you with his ability to shake off? He had a really good start offensively and kind of quieted down again, but he stayed in the game and kind of mentally stayed in the game tonight.
Yeah, he had 12 rebounds. That was huge, and we need him to be physical. I don't know if he took a big charge for us. I think Trey took a big charge. So the physicality, the ability to come over and trap the box and sacrifice your body was huge, and Keegan was a big part of that. And at the end of the day, James, they got to guard him, because if you go to help and you don't get to him quick enough, he gonna make that shot. And so I came in consciously knowing that, you know what, I'm gonna live with Keegan, and and whatever happens happens, because at the end of the day, at worst case scenarios, this is an invaluable experience for him.
Mike, Chris Peterman, Sacramento Bee. De'Aaron called this sort of a perfect game for you guys, and you
Yeah.
can go down the list with points in the paint, second chance points, offensive rebounds, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think this is the best overall floor game that you've gotten from your guys this season?
Yeah, this is a really good game by our guys. They competed. Not only that, we've been telling them all series, hey, touch the paint, touch the paint, touch the paint, and look to spray it, get off it, but do it by coming to a 2-foot jump stop, because Draymond's so good on the backside, Loon's so good on the backside, and they all have active hands, and so they're swiping down at the ball. And I told our guys, you know what, we're not getting a call. This is like a UFC championship fight. In the UFC, if you're the challenger, you're fighting a champion, you can't outpoint them. You can't out-decision them. You got to go take it from them, and we can't be soft with the ball and think because we got hit on the arm that they're gonna call it, because we're putting the decision in their hand, in their officials' hands, and it ain't gonna go our way for sure.
Mike, Jake Eaton from CBS 13, to have Game 7 in your building, how much does that mean to this team and confidence-wise to be able to actually win the series?
That's part of the reason why we busted our behind all year. Trying to get as good of a record as you can during the regular season. Hopefully will help benefit you in situations like this, and we're excited. We're going to go back home for Game 7. We're going to play in front of our fans, and our fans are going to be excited. And the town and the organization definitely deserve this. Now we just got to go out there and try to get it done.
Brendan Nunes, Kings Herald. You guys held Golden State to 38 points in the paint on 18 of 45, and last game it was 60 for them on borderline 70% from the field. Just what was the difference there, and how essential was that tonight?
They've been killing us in the pocket. They've been killing us in the pocket the whole series, and they had gotten a lot of backdoors and stuff like that. And we just said we're going to try to take that away as best we can. And I give Domas a lot of credit because it started with him, and then Trey a lot of credit too. We tried as best we can to do it, and our guys did a fantastic job executing the game plan with the changes we made, and it was part of the reason why we got the win.
Mike, to your right, Ruth Vivas for Hispanic Sports Media.
Oh.
This has been the most even series of the playoffs thus far. It's only fitting that it goes to Game 7. What do you guys need to do at home to win it?
We got to play with physicality on both ends of the ball. I don't have any magic dust. We got to play with physicality offensively, defensively. We got to be strong with the ball offensively. We got to make sure that they feel us defensively. We got to box out, and then we got to get out and run. We got to play fast, not just in the full court, but in the half court as well. We got to have a pace about us that is going to help create some separation so we can get some looks, and all of us from Domas on down, we need to let it fly. If you're open, I don't care. Let that thing go.
And Mike, you know this Golden State team inside and out, and you also know the history and how they have been in Game 7s. What kind of energy and what kind of game do you guys need to beat them in a Game 7?
We're going to have to play at our best. I mean, they again, they're the champions. We're going to have to play at an elite level for 48 minutes against these guys, because they're going to bring it. Trust me, they're going to absolutely frickin' bring it from the beginning to the end of the game, because both teams know that their back's against the wall, and they've been through it. They've had the experience of figuring it out, and so we're going to have to come and play at a high level, doing all the things that I've been talking about.
Mike, De'Aaron and Malik both mentioned that they felt like maybe the Warriors' legs were a little tired tonight. There was one game between this and the last game. There's one game between now and Sunday. Is that part of the thinking and going small and demanding that you guys continue to push the pace? Are you hoping that maybe creates an advantage for you at the end of this series?
No, we just felt going small. They're good. Yeah, like I said, we just felt going small with the guards we have. We'd be able to get downhill, and they can play make. And Trey gave us that ability because, if the reality of it is, obviously they switched Loon on to Foxy. Foxy's got to go make a play against Loon. If Loon wants to be down the floor, Trey's got to pick and pop and shoot it. I don't care if he goes 0 for 10. He got to shoot the ball, And so for us, we do want to play as quick as we can. We said if we could play tomorrow. I don't know if I can say that. I guess I did. If we could play tomorrow, we play tomorrow. But we want to keep pushing the ball, not just because it's the Warriors. I mean, that's how we played all year. We played fast all year, and in order to beat teams in the playoffs, all these teams are great. We got to even try to find a way to play faster while trying to play some defense too.
Hey, Coach, over to your left. Tristy Rodriguez, NBC Sports California. With Keegan's early start and then Kevin getting his shots to fall finally later in the game, it seemed like the first time fans watching got to see both your best shooters do their thing in the same game. How important will that be in Game 7 for both of those guys to get going?
More than get going, they both got to shoot when they're open. So that's the first thing. And then on top of that, they can't hesitate. And on top of that, I mean, obviously, the more that they get going, that's the less pressure it's on Fox and Domas to try to have to score. Because they're going to pay a lot of attention to Fox. They're paying a lot of attention to Malik. And those guys are doing a great job of getting downhill, and so they're going to have some opportunities to get some spray threes. And so, to help us out if they can make them, but more than making them, they got to make sure they take them. But we got to make sure we find them too.
Hey, Mike. Matt George, ABC 10. Speaking of Kevin Huerter, he seemed relieved to finally get some of those shots to go. You've stuck with him and let him kind of work his way through this over the course of this series. How, not necessarily relieved, but how satisfying is it for you to finally see him get a couple of big buckets, important buckets, especially there at the end of the game?
Well, like I said, he's just got to keep shooting the ball, and we have to keep trying to find ways to get him involved, because he's a tireless worker offensively, and his movement creates a lot of separation and gravity to get other guys open. And so, obviously making shots, you feel good about that. But the biggest thing that I like is, he hadn't shot it well, but he's continued to take them. Like he didn't hesitate tonight, and our guys continue to try to find them. So, you give the group a lot of credit, but you give him more credit than anything else because, there's a confidence level you have to have in order to be in his position, and he definitely showed that tonight.
Hey, Coach. Colin Ward-Henninger, CBS Sports. It's clear listening to your players that they've been drilled on the game plan, and it's clear that they executed it tonight. That's just one side of a game like this. How did you feel about how they responded emotionally in what could have been a closeout game?
It's great. We obviously, as a group, haven't been through stuff like this yet. And so, at the end of the day, every experience that we go through during this playoff run, good and bad, it's a fantastic, fantastic learning experience for us. And so, I applaud our guys with the way they handled, everything, especially the outside noise. We've been a group that hadn't listened to the outside noise at all throughout the course of the year because, every sports media person out there, and I would do the same thing if I'm in your guys' shoes, but, they don't give us a chance, which is fine. Like I said, we got to go earn it. And tonight I thought our guys did a good job earning it, but the job's not done. So we got to see how we're going to respond in Game 7 for the first time as a group.
Scott Marsh, Sacktown Sports. You talk about wanting to play quicker. Can you play any quicker than you did to start the game tonight? It seemed like Sabonis was a man on fire to start the game, and you guys really got going. Malik mentioned you guys had really talked about getting off to a really quick start tonight.
Yeah, it's a long game, and so I don't really – it's obviously you want to, if you can be up at any time, you want to be up. I would take that any day of the week. But when I'm talking about playing faster, I'm talking about throughout the whole course of the game, like our pace. We want to go. We want to go. We want to go every single time if we can. And then in the half court, when we're making our cuts and our reads and all that, it's got to be boom, right now, with a sense of urgency, And if we can do that for as close to 48 minutes as possible, we feel like we're going to generate some good looks. And then at the end of the day, you just hope the looks go in.
Mike, you had that overtime win in Minnesota. I think Domas fouled out late, and then you went to Trey at the 5, and you sort of talked about it afterwards as being able to keep that in your back pocket. And it sounds like you were a little bit reluctant, even in this situation, to pull it out. Why the reluctance on your part, and what counter adjustments could you expect for Game 7 from Steve?
I said that wrong. I was great with Trey. I talked to Jordy about the Trey thing as soon as we lost Game 5. We just said, I just told Jordy, hey, I'm going to spread it out. But putting TD on the floor, even extending Kevin's minutes, that's what I'm talking about, that Robbie and Luke beat over my head. So, but the Trey thing, Jordan and I had talked about that right after our Game 5 loss, possibly happening. We didn't know, at the end of the day, we still need to watch the film and all that other stuff. But the more we watched it, the more we talked as a group, that's the more we liked the idea, And my reluctance was, Davion's done a great job. He's busted his behind, and obviously he was the one that he was the one whose minutes got cut in order to keep Kevin on the floor longer. Not only Davion, even HB. Those guys, their minutes were cut, to bring TD and play him more, to keep Keegan out there longer, to play Trey, and to keep Kevin out there longer. And so, again, that more so was Robbie and Luke suggestion that, I was a little hesitant initially, but, the more they beat it over my head, I relented, obviously. Thank you, guys.
5,